Hey guys, so this is on a Saturday and I wanted to show you what I ate this day. My first meal of the day, I believe, was right around 1 o'clock, and I started it out with these Chile Rellenos. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It is a Mexican dish, and I did not come up with this recipe on my own. There is a lady here on YouTube by the name of Daniela Diaries. She does keto as well, and I kind of put my own spin on it, but took the recipe from there. So anyhow, I have these poblano peppers, and I am roasting them on a pan on my stove until they get kind of charcoal black. And so that took a little while to do. I did line my pan with foil so that it didn't make a huge mess, but that is the first step to these. This is kind of what the peppers should be looking like once you're done roasting them. What I'm going to do is put them back into the bag that I brought them home from the store in and tie them up and let them sit in that bag for around 15 or 20 minutes. And that basically helps them to keep cooking. So essentially they'll get nice and soft in the bag. And then once I take them out of the bag, we will go ahead and peel some of that black that's on the outside of the chili. So while that's sitting in the bag, getting soft, the original recipe that I looked at called for 6 eggs. I'm just going to use 3 eggs. I only have 3 of the poblano peppers, so I'm not doing like a ton of them. But what you want to do is I took 4 eggs and I separated out the yolks from the egg whites. I do not have a egg separator, so I just kind of go back and forth in between the cracked egg and kind of pour out the egg white into the dish, and then I saved the egg yolk on the side because we will go ahead and add these back into the egg whites at a later time. So as you can see, I do have a stand mixer. If you do not have a stand mixer, you could use a hand mixer as well. But you're definitely going to need something like a stand mixer or a hand mixer. And once you get your egg whites in there, go ahead and start it out a little slow, but then quickly turn it to a medium speed. And you're just going to let those eggs kind of hang out there probably about 7-ish minutes, I would say, until the eggs start to get white and foamy and become like, I don't know, like a soft peak consistency. So meaning that once I would take and put my stand mixer down, as you can see how it looks. It just looks kind of foamy. And when I take my wire whisk and do that, it kind of forms soft peaks. So essentially that is what you are going to want to do. Just wanted to show you guys how that looks. So then basically once that is done, you can go ahead and start to add your egg yolks back into the mixture one at a time. So I'm just kind of slowing things down here, and I'm going to start adding the egg yolks back into my mixer one by one. So now that our peppers are done sitting in the bag, I went ahead and took them out. And what I'm going to try to do is just take and pick off as much of the kind of black charred exterior of each pepper as much as I can before we go ahead and split these open and stuff them full of whatever we're going to put in here. So what I'm going to fill my peppers with is some aged white cheddar cheese and my hot sausage. And here you can see I was just kind of trying to take some of the seeds out of the peppers. In the original recipe that I followed, they did not mention whether or not, the seeds were taken out. I did try it on one of mine, and then I kind of figured it was kind of hard to do that because the peppers are so soft and you really don't want to risk you don't want to risk messing them up, I guess, because you could tear them very easily. So as you can see, I put some cheese in there, and I put some of my hot sausage in there, and I think I'm going to put another little piece of cheese or two in there, and that's going to be what my filling is. Essentially, what you want to try to do is once you get your peppers filled with whatever you want to put in there, you want to go ahead and try to close those up. Now, you could use toothpicks. However, I used skewers, and I think that that worked out better. I think that they're a little bit more heavy duty, and they actually close the peppers up a little bit better. I had to take one of the pieces of cheese out there because it was just too full. So you basically just want to kind of put that skewer in there and kind of sew it shut with the skewer. Obviously, you're going to need to be careful once you go to eat these after you dip them and fry them of that skewer. So if you can kind of find that after you cook it, you can go ahead and remove that before you start to eat it. I have some oil here that I have been heating in my little pan. I have been letting that heat through. You want to let it get pretty hot before you decide to dip the peppers into your mixture and fry them. I am dipping my poblano pepper into my egg mixture. One of these suggestions was to try to keep the stem on the pepper if possible. A lot of mine got so soft that the stem didn't want to stay on, so I kind of had to use my hands, but that is okay. Once you get your pepper into the egg mixture, go ahead and put that into the oil to be fried. And this is kind of what a couple of mine are looking like. Again, I was missing the stem on most of them, so I ended up just using some tongs. And I did let those go ahead and cook in my oil for right around, I would say maybe 2-3 minutes on each side. As you can see, I had a little bit of issue with my tongs trying to flip these. They are a bit delicate because it is only eggs that you're dipping it into essentially. But I think it's really cool that it is only eggs that you're dipping it into. So you're not using any almond flour or anything like that to add any extra carbs or calories. It's simply just the eggs, which I think is a really cool concept. I kind of wonder if this mixture would work for other things that you might fry, like mozzarella cheese, things like that. Not sure if that would hold up, but I think it would definitely be worth a try. So again, just let these cook in your oil, I would say for maybe 2-3 minutes on each side, and then they should be ready to go. Okay, so this is what my pepper ended up looking like once I was done frying it. I did go ahead and I put some homemade guacamole on top of it, and I had the sour cream ranch dressing concoction that I put on top as well. And here I am just trying to show you all what it looks like when I cut it in half. I have the hot sausage and the cheese in there, and it was so yummy. Again, highly recommend making this. Put your own spin on it. You're going to love it. So for my second meal of the day, I ended up finding these black tiger shrimp at Aldi. Let them thaw out, cook them in a pan, 2 minutes on each side, and a little bit of butter and some seasonings, and then I melted some Kerrygold butter on the side to dip them in. They were so yummy. And that's basically all I had for my dinner that day. They were really satisfying. So here I have pictured a meal that I made for dinner one night that week as well. I ended up getting a waffle maker and making keto waffles. Top them with some whipped topping, a little bit of blueberries and strawberries, bacon on the side. If you guys want to see the recipe for this, I will be happy to make it. So good. And then one other day for dinner, actually, I made breakfast for dinner. I had half of a waffle, that keto waffle recipe I made again, a little bit of butter, whipped topping, blueberries, some eggs on the side with spinach, and I drizzled a little sriracha on top. Again, that was a really good meal idea as well. And then one little concoction that I put together was some cauliflower rice into a bowl, a whole avocado smashed, some of my hot Italian sausage, threw a little bit of mozzarella cheese in there, cooked an egg over easy and put some of my everything bagel seasoning on top, a little bit of sriracha and salsa. This was so good. You can do so many wonderful things with keto. Thank you guys again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.